Hi guys, welcome back to another GGF video. Today I'll be doing something a bit different and we'll be going over this custom case that's being built. Just to give you some background on this case, it's built by one of my mates. He's also involved with GGF. He's one of the admins who has helped us start that back up again. So this case is pretty much a file server case. It's been designed with two Lian Li, it says it just here, PC201s. I'll put an image up on the screen so you can actually see what these look like on their own. So it's actually two of those bolted together. On this side we have 32 hard drives, and on this side we have the system components. So pretty much the reason for this case was this case is probably 4 years old since it's been built. My mate used this single case on its own probably a year or so before that, and the issue was it just didn't have enough hard drive space. So this case on its own, one of these cases has room for 12 at the bottom on the side, and then you can fit them in the front. So at the moment there's about 46 drives in here. I'll count them in a tick, but yeah, 46 drives, and at the time there were no cases to support that amount. I'm pretty sure there's not many cases these days that support 46 drives at the moment. So I'll put up a photo, but pretty much he was going to lands, or we were going to lands, and 32 of the drives had to be just stacked on top of the standard case, and all it was just tons and tons of drives. So it was actually quite hilarious going to a LAN, seeing him spend an hour set up the drives manually. They were in a couple of RAID arrays. I'm pretty sure they were just in two 16 drive RAID 0 arrays, purely just for data, nothing too sort of personal, that it wasn't too concerned if the data was lost. So yeah, so pretty much these drives were being stacked on top, and after a while he just got over it, having to spend all that time. So we set out on making this case that we could support, or he could support, all these drives and more in the future if needed. So I'm doing a video on this because he's had this for so long, and this is actually being decommissioned. So this is a bit of a goodbye video. It's a bit of a tribute for this case, as it has lasted so long. It's been to a ton of lands, although it does take 2 or 3 people to carry because it does weigh a ton, and by its pure size of it. To get the design of this case, we started off with two Antec 1200s. 2 of those were purchased in our strip down phase because we needed to strip them all out to join them together. They pretty much fell apart. So the Antec 1200s were just pretty much thrown out. Then we moved on to some old school Chenbro cube cases. We didn't end up going with those because they were all 80 mil fans, and it was just an old school design, so we pretty much ditched them out. And the fact that he already had one of these Lian Li cases, we decided to hunt around, and I managed to find a second one, although you couldn't buy them anymore at the time. I managed to find the second one second-hand in pretty good condition, so we picked up one of those, and then building started. It was pretty much all built in a day, a few designs done beforehand. So I'll pretty much start with the back. As you can see, kind of straightforward. The cases were pretty much bolted together first, and then it's just been layered with checker plate on top. That probably looks like it's 2 or 3 mil checker plate. It's all been cut by ourselves. You probably noticed there's 4 power supplies. At the time, 4 years ago or 5 years ago, single rail power supplies were pretty rare. So to get the amount we needed for the voltage on each rail for all the hard drives, we just went all out and got the highest we got. So this is a 1500 watt and a 1200 watt gigabyte. So that's a gigabyte, and these are 3 Thermaltake Tough Powers, and they've been doing the job fine ever since. They are connected via relay, so you turn them on, turn one on and the other switch on. I'll show you that later on. It's got, all fans are the Sky Karma ones. I think they're about 200 CFM. They are loud as hell. I'll probably show you those later on as well. Because there's 32 drives in this side, we just really needed to get the airflow in and out as quickly as possible, so all the hard drives didn't overheat. Moving over to the system components, I might just zoom in so we can get a shot on that. So for the system components on here, the main board is an Asus X58 supercomputer. Surprisingly, being Asus, it's actually held up really well. Asus are pretty good in the gaming industry, but for more of their sort of server boards for this type of work, they're not too crash shot. But this board's actually been pretty good. Although one of the chips was knocked off in a recent rebuild, and it kind of stuffed it up. But just after a quick solder job, it was all good. So starting at the top, we just have a sound card. I'm pretty sure that's just a Sound Blaster titanium or one of those. Sound isn't used too much on here. Below is a 6-port network adapter, so like your quad port NICs, this is a 6-port NIC, so we can team all those up, use them all individually, however you want. The next one down is the Adaptic, I think this is a 28-port RAID card. That's just your external 4-port if you want 4 external, so I think it's 4 external and 24 internal. Next one down, we just have a single 10 gigabit copper network card. That's the main one used for all the high data transferring. Next one down is your High Point 2340 16-port RAID card. So there's 2 RAID cards in here, and then the next 2 is your GTX 295. So it's not really video card sort of heavy, this system. It can still play the odd game if needed, but it's mainly used for data. And then going down, it's just your standard I/O ports, which we don't really need to know about. We have noticed there has been a bit of rust on here. You'll notice on the front when I spin it around, it has been stored in a garage most of its life, so I'm pretty sure that's why it's getting a bit rusty. But as I said, it's on its way out, so it may still be used for something, but most of the components are. It is getting a new mainboard though. It's getting a 2011 Supermicro. This new Supermicro board has dual 10 gigabit NICs on board, dual mini SAS on board. We'll be sticking a new video card in, ditching the CPUs. He's already got 2 E5 2690 CPUs, so they're crazy good. So this system may still be used for something, but it won't be the main purpose system. I'll spin it around. We'll have a look at the front, and then we'll have a good look at the best side over here, which has all the drives in it. Alright, so here's the front side. As you can see, you can really see the rust has come up on those. I don't know if it's the material those Karma Bay drive thingos were, but that's what they are, and I just really haven't lasted. If we were going to use this longer, we'd probably definitely paint them and fix them up, but the fact that it's not being used anymore. So pretty much all these coils were done by hand, cut out for the fan hole down below, done by hand. CD-ROM, I don't know if that's still used, and these little on, reset and on buttons are really nice. They have a little LED ring around them as well. I'll spin this around so we can see the good side. Okay, so this is the main hard drive side here. Just get a bit of a shot. So as you can see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 rows or segments, and each one has 8 drives each. So you can see we've done all our own power rails there, manually did all those, bought the connectors, crimped them all, just to make it run really nice. This, you're probably wondering how we sort of take a drive out. We designed it to unscrew 2 or 3 of these bolts coming up, and then you just pretty much, there's none in the top. The tops are just sort of guided through these rails, and they're actually really sturdy, so they're not coming out. And then you pretty much undo these bolts, and then you just slide each cage out. So it's not too bad, but there was no way we could really do it to pull each single drive out, and we weren't going to sort of spend hours sort of to work that out. I don't really think any drives have needed to be pulled out except for a complete rebuild. As for drive sizes, it all started off with 1Ts. And now that the generation has come along, I believe these are all 3Ts on this side, or there might be some 1Ts still left. But the total data size here before it's formatted is, I believe it's about 94 terabytes of data in this whole system. Once you format that in Windows, you probably lose about 10-15 terabytes, but its standard off-the-shelf size is about 94 terabytes. And this is all RAID 0. This isn't really a sort of high-end sort of business server, production server. It doesn't need to be redundant, so any data on here can just get sort of taken off someone else if need be. But the arrays have been pretty solid on here, and since all this time, I'm pretty sure no arrays have gone down anyway. So moving down in the second bit, so you can see it supports me now added there just to help the sheer weight of all those drives, because that does weigh a ton. You've got 2 power supplies there, like I said before, and then you can see all the sort of 24 pins, and they've just been added with adapters, and that's the relay there. So pretty much one power supply goes to the on-off switch, or one actually goes to the motherboard, and then it's just split, so these will start up. I'll fire those up once I've shown you the whole system, and we can see how they sound like. So there's another fan down below. That doesn't really do too much. So we could have actually added more diodes down the bottom, but the fact that the main limitation to this case is it's only a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's only a 7-slot case, so we're sort of limited on what boards can go in here. So that's pretty much another reason for the upgrade. And the upgraded, we'll probably do a video of the upgraded system once we're done. The case is going to be built by Scratch, the new one. Everything's being ordered, and it's going to have 72 hot swap bays in the front, and then the motherboard's going to be sort of towards the back, and it's going to be set up like that. And I believe there's going to be 4 Corsair AX1200s, one's an I, the rest are non-Is, and it's going to have a ton of water cooling, so I'll definitely do a video card out of that. The only Lian Li bit that's going in the new case is he's ordered a 10-slot Lian Li motherboard tray. That's going to be the base, and the rest of it's going to be built around that. That's pretty much for that side. We'll turn it around. So pretty much we've kept the same sort of latch design. This latch design is really good on these cases. You just plug it like this, and then it just slides out and folds down. So that worked out really well for that, and it's the same goes on the other side. Alright, so pretty much you look at all these fans and going, what the hell? We couldn't really fit any water cooling in, so we just got the beastiest air cooler. It is running like an i7 950, I'm pretty sure it's at stock, so it's not really that important, but the rest of the case is decked out, so we thought, why not deck out the CPU? Same fans again, 200 CFM, 200 CFM, 200 CFM. It is noisy as hell, but this is mainly just used at LAN, so we're not really too concerned. It's got 12 gigs of RAM, triple channel, all the slots are full. There's your 295, and there's all your RAID cards in there, so you can see it is kind of neat for what it is. We kind of like to sort of show it off and show the work off we've done as well. It's a little bit dusty, but yeah, we're not too concerned about that. And then you can see the remaining drives. So this all down below is your standard stock Lian Li case like this. So they had the hot swap rows and all that, and there's another 200 CFM fan down the bottom there. So pretty much, I know Lian Li has made like the PCD 8000, the 6000, I think the 7000. It would be really sweet if they could actually make something like this. Like there are plenty of dual chamber cases out at the moment, but there's not one where it's they're sort of video card orientated and things like that. Like I know plenty of people who have had to either buy a standard case and buy a Norco to fit 24 drives in and things like that. I don't think it'd be too hard for Lian Li or someone to make a system like this. Like their PCD 8000 can do 20 drives in the front, or they could probably move those 20 drives in the front and just add 4 rows similar to one side, and that's like one chamber done. Power supply down the bottom, and then the other side power supply down the bottom, because you may need 2 if you're running a ton of drives, and then that could be it. I know a ton of people who would probably buy those for server and data use like that. So if they could build something like that, because I have 2 friends who do have they each have a PCD 8000. One of them's got 50 so drives in it, but he's had to mod the hell out of it. He's had to add hard drive caddies hanging off the fans, all things like that. He's had to stick hard drives everywhere. But if Lian Li could build a conventional, say it takes 45, or probably an even number, 48 drives, or 42 drives, 40 drives in one side, and then just a few for system drives on the other side, I reckon it would be a pretty big hit. Alright, well I'm going to put some power on this. It takes 4 IEC to turn it on. Probably not going to go on Windows. I'm just going to show you the sheer noise of this system, and that will pretty much be it. And then I'll show you the new system when it's built in probably a month or 2. Alright, so we've got all the IEC cables in. It needs 4. I probably won't have this on for too long. It's going to make a lot of noise. that's the 4 on. See, even the lights flicker just by turning them on there. Alright, one of these is reset and power. I'll see which one. I think that's power. Alright, I don't have a decibel reader, but I wish I would. I'd probably say up close, that's probably over 100. If you're talking to 2 people, it'd be pretty hard to try and keep the conversation up because this is just loud as hell. But it works really well. Once you put the side panel on, I might actually turn that off. So yeah, once you put the side panel on, this worked really well because you just got the 2 fans here, straight through, straight out. So these drives are always kept to around 20-24 degrees. They were super cool, which was good. But being noisy wasn't too much of an issue. Most of the time it was run in a garage, and just at land, so it wasn't too bad. So that's pretty much it for this. We just wanted to put this through a bit of a review, just to show people what can be done if you sort of set your mind to building something you really need and you want. Also, Lian Li for the 2 base systems we're using here were great. As you sort of heard before, it took us quite a few cases to get to this. All the others just weren't up to scratch, and Lian Li were definitely the way to go. But yeah, if someone could produce a case for them like this in the future, I'm sure tons of people will buy it. It'd be certainly something unique. I wouldn't think they'd have to design something different. They could certainly take the concept they've got with using the front dry bays, the ones that slide on rubber and on guide rails, and they could just add them on the side and things like that. So, but that's pretty much it for the system. I'll be sure to do a review on the new system once it's up. It's going to be probably double this weight. It's going to need a ton of people to carry, but that should be pretty sweet when that's done, and I'll see you next time.